Zero. That's where this story starts. Not broke with a plan, not behind on payments, but almost caught up. Zero. This video takes you from that number all the way to $10 million. dollars. But I'm not here to talk about the money. I'm here to show you how your entire life changes at every single level. What you gain and what you quietly lose. Most people never see the full picture. You're about to. Level 1. Zero. You don't think about money at this level, you think about today. Can you cover rent this month? Can the car make it another week? Is there enough in the account to buy groceries without checking your phone at the register? Wealth at zero isn't a financial state, it's a mental one. Every decision runs through a single filter. Can I afford this right now? Not this year, not this month, right now. That filter is exhausting in a way that people above it never fully remember. You don't talk about it, you perform fine. You show up, you laugh at the right moments, you say I'm good when people ask. But underneath that, something is running constantly. A low background calculation that never fully turns off. The math of whether you can make it through the month without a problem appearing. You skip the work lunch, not hunger. The numbers this week don't allow it and you haven't told anyone. You check your account before bed, not out of habit, out of fear. But at zero, a $400 emergency is not an inconvenience. It's a crisis. And the distance between you and a crisis is never more than one unexpected bill away. Most people at this level don't think they're at this level. That's part of how it keeps you here. Level 2. $5,000. This is the first number that changes something real. Your lifestyle looks unchanged from the outside. Your apartment is the same, your clothes haven't changed, your job is unchanged, but for the first time you have a buffer. $5,000 means the car repair doesn't spiral into a missed rent payment, the unexpected bill doesn't threaten your landlord, the crisis stays a problem instead of becoming a disaster. That shift from no buffer to a buffer is one of the largest psychological changes in this entire story, and almost nobody talks about it because it's invisible from the outside. Financial experts talk about 6-month emergency funds, about index funds and Roth IRAs, but before any of that makes sense, you need money that sits still, a number you look at and don't touch. Because $5,000 is the difference between reacting to your life and having a breath before you do. It's the difference between your phone ringing and your stomach dropping, and your phone ringing and just answering it. That space between the ring and the drop. That's what $5,000 actually buys you. Not things, not freedom, just room to breathe before you respond. Before we go further, drop your level in the comments right now. Zero, building, comfortable, or beyond. I read every single one, and wherever you are, this video is for you. Level 3, $25,000. This is where your relationship with money changes for good. Not because $25,000 is a large amount. In the context of real wealth, it isn't. But because $25,000 sitting in an account uncommitted to anything changes how you make decisions. You stop saying yes to things you cannot afford because you don't want to look like you can't. You stop turning down opportunities because the timing feels wrong. You start thinking in months instead of days. And here's what nobody warns you about when you reach this number for the first time. The feeling isn't excitement, it's quiet. A steadiness you didn't know was missing until it arrived. Your apartment looks the same, your car is unchanged, your salary hasn't moved, but something in you settled. And that settling, that shift in how you carry yourself through a day, is the first genuine gift money gives you. Not things, not status, options, and time to consider them. At 25,000, you start making decisions from a different place, not from scarcity, not from fear of what happens if you say no, from a quiet knowing that you have enough runway to figure it out. That shift in the starting point of every decision is worth more than the number itself. Most people underestimate it until they feel it for the first time and realize they can never go back. Level 4, $100,000. 6 figures, the number everyone says they want. And here is the truth nobody prepares you for. It doesn't feel the way you expected. The account crosses 6 figures and you look at it, and nothing dramatic happens. No rush, no arrival, no feeling that the hard part is over. Just a number, one digit longer than the one before. Because by the time you reach 100,000, if you built it with discipline, you've already understood the core truth. The milestone was never the point. The system is the point. The habit of moving money before you spend it. The decision to stop upgrading your life every time your income grew. The restraint that most people confuse with not earning enough. At 100,000, you also start to notice the gap between you and the people who didn't build it. Not in an arrogant way, in a quiet, uncomfortable way. They got the raise and upgraded the apartment, you didn't. They got the bonus and upgraded the car, you held. From the outside, their life looks better. Newer things, more visible signals of success. But your account tells a story theirs can't. And the gap between those two numbers is widening every single month, invisibly, automatically. $100,000 is not a destination. It's confirmation that the system works, and proof that you're the kind of person who can build it. If this is landing for you, hit the like button right now. It costs you nothing, and it's what keeps this channel running. Now, the level where everything accelerates. Level 5, $250,000. Something changes here that has nothing to do with your lifestyle. The money starts working while you're not watching. At $250,000 in a broadly diversified index fund, your portfolio generates roughly $18,000 to $25,000 a year. In average market returns, automatically, $18,000 to $25,000. Without a contribution, without a decision, without you doing anything at all. For some people watching this, that number is 2 months of living expenses. For others, it's close to a full year. But the principle holds for everyone. You have crossed the line where your money earns more annually than most people manage to save annually. The machine isn't waiting for instructions anymore, it's running on its own. And here's what that actually means in daily life. You wake up on a Monday morning, make coffee, sit at the kitchen table. And while you're doing that, while you're just existing, the account grew by roughly $50 to $68, the result of a decision you made years ago and never reversed. That's what $250,000 in a compound interest environment produces. Not dramatic wealth, not retirement, just the quiet, permanent confirmation that the direction you chose was the right one. And that confirmation, felt every morning you check the account, changes how you approach everything else. Level 6, $500,000. The world starts treating you differently here. You didn't change, your position in the system did. The loan the bank quoted you at 11% when you had 25,000 is now at 4.8. The price of money dropped because you stopped being a risk in their model. Your financial advisor calls you first now instead of waiting for you to call. Products that required applications are offered by invitation. Opportunities that were invisible at lower levels are suddenly named and extended directly. The system tilted, and here's what's worth understanding about that. It has nothing to do with fairness. It has everything to do with how the system was designed. Better terms flow to people who need them least. Attention flows to balances that generate the most revenue. The system isn't broken at 500,000. It's working exactly as it was built to. Understanding that makes you accurate. And accuracy at this level is worth more than almost anything else. You built this, now use it. But carry one thing with you as you do. The version of you that couldn't get a loan approved, that waited on hold for 40 minutes. That was moved through the system like a number with no name. That person is still in you. The system forgot them. You don't have to. Level 7, $1 million. 7 figures. Built from discipline. Built from patience. Built from hundreds of decisions to hold when spending would have been easier. Here is what $1 million actually looks like in real life. Not a yacht, not a private flight, not anything from a movie. It looks like a Tuesday morning where you wake up and you don't have to go anywhere you don't want to go. That's it. That's the $1 million feeling. Not owning more things, owning your time. At a 4% safe withdrawal rate, the standard used by financial planners worldwide, $1 million generates $40,000 a year in passive income without touching the principal, without one additional contribution. For most people, combined with work they actually choose, with a life they've kept intentionally simple, that number is enough. Enough to stop working for reasons you don't believe in. Enough to say no to things that cost you more than they pay you. Enough to build a life by design instead of by default. And here's the thing about arriving at 1 million that nobody tells you ahead of time. The goal you spent years building toward doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like the first morning of something else entirely. Not retirement, not stopping. A different kind of starting, one where you finally get to choose the direction. Most people spend their lives reacting to the job, to the bill, to the expectation. At 1 million for the first time, you get to act first. And that, not the number, is what the million was always for. Subscribe right now if you want the exact roadmap, the accounts, the steps, the numbers for your income level. Every video on this channel is built like this one. Level 8, $3 million. You remember what zero felt like. You remember running the math on rent. You remember the declined card. You remember the invisible wall between you and the people who had more. The way they moved through rooms differently. The way access opened for them before they asked. And now you're standing on the other side of that wall. Here's what surprises people at this level. The wall looks the same from here. It hasn't moved. It hasn't softened. It's just that you're now the one who stops noticing it. $3 million separates you from almost every financial problem you've ever carried. And quietly, without anyone announcing it, it starts separating you from the people who still carry those problems. Not through arrogance, through distance. The conversations that used to connect you become harder to have. The problems that used to bond you, you can no longer share in the same way. Old friends talk about money stress the way you used to. You listen, you nod, you remember, but you cannot fully inhabit that room anymore. 3 million gives you freedom from almost everything that once defined your daily life, including, quietly, some of the things that made it feel like yours. That's not a reason not to build it. It's just a cost nobody warns you about. Level 9, $10 million. Fewer than 1% of people will ever reach this number. And the most honest thing about this level is that the money stopped mattering long before you got here. Not because the freedom isn't real, it is. Not because the options it creates aren't genuine, they are. But because by the time you arrive here, if you built it the way this story describes, you already know the money was never the point. The point was the person you had to become to build it. The discipline at zero when nothing was working and no one was watching. The patience at 25,000 when the number felt too small to count for anything. The restraint at 100,000 when everyone around you was spending and you held. The consistency at 500,000 when the machine was running but the finish line was still invisible. 10 million is not the story. The story is every decision that made 10 million possible. And that story starts not at the top. It starts at zero, with one choice, made before you felt ready, made when the number was so small it almost didn't seem worth making. But you made it anyway, and then you made the next one, and the one after that, until the decisions became a system, and the system became a life, and the life became something nobody can take back from you. Somewhere right now, someone is at zero, checking their balance at the grocery register, running the math on this month's rent, performing fine while a quiet weight underneath never fully lifts. They think the distance between them and this level is impossible to cross. It isn't. It's a decision, then another, then a system built from those decisions, running quietly while life keeps moving. The path is real. The only question is which level you decide to stop at. If this video changed how you see money, share it with one person who needs it. Next week, the exact accounts, the exact steps, the exact numbers, broken down for your income level. I'm Marcus. This is Pharaoh Finance. Subscribe, and I'll see you next week.